And now before you, a Polish person being attacked by a free crocodile. Viewer discretion is advised.
Piękny, it's beautiful. O kurwa. Płynie mi do... Uciekaj kurwa stąd. Get out of here. Fuck. Man. Patrz jaki kurwa szwagier. Popatrz jaka Franca. Kurwa chce mi wskoczyć na tego. Uciekaj. Fuck. I gotta move out.
As you see, crocodiles suck at attacking. The same is true for the oldest trading card game. There are very inconsistent beaters slash backfield trash, so there was not many rares wasted on this. These do not make a competent EDH deck, but what does? Here are conditions and examples. Good stripes should have things like recovery, evasion, critical mass, which means damage and swarming capability and synergy. Also, dedicated commander is good thing to have. Jump with me into these gator infested waters and let's find out how much trash we can find at the bottom. Planeswalkers of all kind, I welcome you to the first episode of Terrible Tribes, a show where I review terrible tribes in the weirdest format of Magic the Gathering, Commander. Let's start with a commander, and I have to disappoint all Water Lizard fans, cause they do not have a legendary creature. Oh well, all crocodiles are in colors green, black and blue, double D, double die. So find yourself a nice suit-type commander. Anyway, let's dissect the first specimen. Great-scaled Grorial, and I'm gonna butcher most of the names, is a 1-1 crocodile for 1 blue mana with Island Walk. A 1-1 for 1 with one of the best forms of evasion is pretty great, even when it's strong as a squirrel. Let me look at the flavor text for anything interesting. God, that's a lot of teeth. And now I have to skip 2 mana creatures because there's no 2 mana gators. And get used to me calling crocs gators and vice versa. They are basically the same. Moving swiftly, we have Vivien's Crocodile. It's a 3/3 crocodile spirit for 2 generic and 1 green mana with this effect. Vivien's Crocodile gets +1/+1 as long as you control Vivien Planeswalker. A croc with a activation condition requiring you to control a very specific Planeswalker which has only like 3 usable versions of itself. It's not good, at least with her being around. This croc can beat over a premier beater of year 1993. I do not want to look at the soul discarded anymore. Bye. Croconura is a 1/3 frog crocodile for 2 generic and 1 green mana with reach and this effect. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, if that creature has greater power or toughness than this creature, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. This effect, stated before, is also known as Evolve keyword. And with this creature having 1 power means it will grow rather fast. This silly named card is still more of a frog card than crocodile, and it makes it 2 times better than normal croc would. Flying interceptors are always appreciated, so if you want to play crocodiles, play this one. Lurking Crocodile is a 2/2 crocodile for 2 generic and 1 green mana with Island Walk and Bloodthirst 1. What is Bloodthirst exactly? Here's an explanation. If an opponent was dealt damage this turn, this creature enters the battlefield with +1 counter. So, stock on these burn spells? I don't know. Evasion makes this thing usable. Good croc! Now go eat people. Stonefair Crocodile is a 3/2 crocodile for 2 generic and 1 green mana with following effect. For 2 generic and 1 black mana, Stonefair Crocodile gets lifelink until end of turn. I'm not angry, just disappointed. Kinda weird that crocodiles stopped Izzet from expanding their labs into Ravnica's waterways. Guldras Maclord is a 2/3 Crocodile for 2 generic and 1 black mana with this effect. When Guldras Maclord dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. The newest member of the lineup is not a very good card with dice effect that could be loopable, but I will state it before you will try it. It's not worth the trouble. If you still insist on getting yourself an Eren of Clan Neltef to loop him few times before the board gets hit by Cyclonic Rift, wasting all your time, run this one as well. Baleful Amit is a 4/3 Crocodile Demon for 2 generic and 1 black mana with lifelink and this effect. When Baleful Amit enters the battlefield, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature you control. This effect gives me some bad flashbacks. Besides this, congrats buddy, pass the vanilla test with the flying colors, unless you're the only creature on the battlefield. Still a good try. It even got remixed one set later. Let's take a look at this remix. Amit Eternal is a 5/5, and say it with me, Zombie Crocodile Demon for 2 generic and 1 black mana with Afflict 3, which means whenever this creature becomes blocked, defending player loses 3 life, and these effects. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a -1/-1 counter on Amit Eternal. Whenever Amit Eternal deals combat damage to a player, remove all -1/-1 counter from it. Remix, more like scratching nails on a chalkboard, am I right guys? Its second effect is so terrible, especially in Commander where you have 3 opponents casting spells, so say bye bye to this Crocodile just after casting it. To be fair, run Baleful Amit and leave Amit Eternal in card binder or in the trash, whatever feels better. Next 3 cards are Gross Crocodile, Catacomb Crocodile and Skeletal Crocodile. And full stop. I will not waste your time explaining why overpriced and underpowered vanillas are bad. Just invest into changelings, who also got pretty funky support lately. Do not run vanillas unless you need to. I feel ordered talking about it. Moving on, before I finally turn to dust. Crocodile of Crossing is a 5/4 Crocodile for 3 generic and 1 green mana with haste and this effect. When Crocodile of Crossing enters the battlefield, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature you control. This croc is pretty nice, attacking on the same turn it comes into play, also bringing a very bad effect with him. Like everything in the world, it must be balanced. Even I would like it wouldn't. Rootwater Alligator is a 3/2 Crocodile, okay, for 3 generic and 1 green mana with this effect. Sacrifice a forest, regenerate Rootwater Alligator. Only good thing about this croc is that it can survive a board wipe, tapped, losing all auras and equipment that was attached to this stupid 3/2 for 4. No, I will personally not sacrifice a forest to save it. Go rotting in irrelevance with Court Street Denizen? I don't know. Let's go forth. Algae Guario is a 1/1 Crocodile for 3 generic and 1 green mana with Shroud and this effect. Whenever another creature dies, put 1/+1/+1 counter on Algae Guario. Where did he go? Ah, he's shrouded. This card is a prototype Lumber mod, released 3 years prior. Sadly, both are outdated. This Crocodilian was also oracled because original card text confused pro players about how tokens dying reacts with this reptile. Good job wizards, have a chicken. Emperor Crocodile is a 5/5 Crocodile for 3 generic and 1 green mana with this effect. When you control no other creatures, sacrifice Emperor Crocodile. No, just No, do not run this. There are better vanillas than this. More baffling is that this swamp reject was a rare in Urza's block. Thankfully it was reprinted at common, where it fucking belongs. Truly, Emperor was never more naked. Hagra Crocodile is a 3-1 crocodile for 3 generic mana and 1 black mana with these effects. Hagra Crocodile can block. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, Hagra Crocodile gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Black creatures not being able to block was an original Zendikar's gimmick. Thankfully, instead of making this creature worse, they just made more linear steplings. The play you want to make with this is simple. Have some search lands and cultivate ready. Sacrifice the search lands, use cultivate for an attack with huge croc into a player who has no creatures. Which happens like every 5 heliocycles? Let's not waste time and look for greener pastures with Tenacious Hunter. It's a 4/4 for 2 generic and 2 green with this effect. As long as there is a creature with -1/-1 counter on it, Tenacious Hunter has Vigilance and Death Touch. Do you smell this? It's synergy. Finally, took you 13 years though. Let's consider real quick. It works with downside of 2 crocs and downside with a mid-eternal, which is silly but appreciated. Yes, it is limited, yes. Is it worth it? Absolutely no, but you're gonna take what life gives. When life gives you lemons, think for yourself. Marsh Crocodile is a 4/4 crocodile for 2 generic and 1 blue and 1 black mana with these effects. When Marsh Crocodile enters the battlefield, return a blue or black permanent creature. If it was a permanent, it would be actually good. You control to its owner's hand. When Marsh Crocodile enters the battlefield, each player discards a card. Very important to note is that effects go in the same time and are non-targeting. So if someone gives you Zancha, return her to sender. And the second effect is not Magic's Foolish Burial, but still can help as a setup tool. Digressing for a moment, a lot of Gators was painted by Keith Walker. This is just a piece of trivia I want to use as transition. Transition to a card that was not painted by Keith. World Scale Crocodile is a 5/3 crocodile for 4 generic and 1 green mana with hexproof, which means that your opponents can't target this card. Is it good? Well, it can block Hill Giant and die. Answer yourself. Seriously, next card. Sandbar Crocodile is a 6/5 crocodile for 4 generic and 1 blue mana with phasing. Let me go into my turn. It's gone? Good, I do not have to talk about it. Dakara Scavenger is a 4/6. No, go away! Where was I? Ah, yes. 4/6 crocodile for 5 generic and 1 black mana with this effect. When the Dakara Scavenger enters the battlefield, you may put target artifact or creature card from your graveyard on the top of your library. This is a good tool to grab something from the graveyard after sending it with Marsh. This Gator perfectly shows a post-2014 card design where most creatures are just vanillas with sorcery stapled to them. In this case, a Worcery Grove. Well, next card. Kerud Redmaw is a 4/4 zombie crocodile for 4 generic and 1 black mana with Defender and this effect. Pay 1 generic and 1 green mana and sacrifice another creature. You gain life equal to sacrificed creature's toughness. This effect builds with its cost to something special and then lands on his face, giving you 1/16 of a life you're gonna lose next turn due to your opponents attacking you full force. It's a giant grinder, and not a good kind, more like this. I would say something interesting about this, but I'm just gonna leave it alone in its pond. Scaled Behemoth is a 6/7 crocodile for 4 generic and 2 green mana with hexproof. It's Colossal Dreadmaw's cousin. By it means this is the card that will be core set filler until end of time or until Wizards bankrupt. One thing that makes it better than Dreadmaw is that it can fight with it and be alive. Look at him, he's even smiling. Oh, I just want to play with him. Be good guys, don't leave him behind. Next card's gonna be a mouthful because the card text is so stupidly long. And that card is Scuttlegator. It's a 6/6 crab turtle crocodile for 4 generic and 2, let's just call it civic mana, with defender and these effects. Pay 6 generic and 2 civic mana, adapt 3. Which means if a creature has no +1/+1 counters on it, put 3 +1/+1 counters on it. As long as Scuttlegator has +1/+1 counters on it, it can attack as it didn't have defender. So if you sprinkle some +1/+1 counters on this cutie, you're gonna have a real Sheila with some amazing death rolls. Haha! White boy death rolls! Adapt is overpriced, but if you have a way to spread some counters or an Ozolith, then you don't have a problem. Simple as that. Here's a funky play I devised only using cards from the stripe. You need to have Korshu Deathmaw, Scuttlegator, and Guldras Maclord on the field. Sacrifice Guldras Maclord with Carrot Redmaw and put 1/1 counter on Scuttlegator, and voila! You have a 7/7 vanilla. You did it! Congratulations! Also, where is the turtle part on this art? That body is definitely a crab. Where is the turtle, wizard? Where is the turtle? Seriously, where is the turtle? That's a really important question. Going to the enchantment lineup for one card that is part of a crocodile tribe. Veiled Crocodile is an enchantment for 2 generic and 1 blue mana with this effect. When a player has no cards in hand, if Veiled Crocodile is an enchantment, Veiled Crocodile becomes a 4/4 crocodile creature. This effect rarely activates. Most experienced players would rather bluff with a land in their hands than stay empty-handed. There is some combos that will make your opponents not able to have any cards in hands, some even in the color identity. Okay, here's one. Bring the Ferris Puzzle Box and Narset Pater of Veils on the field. And then pass the turn to your opponent. They will draw their card for the turn, and then they will put their hand on bottom of their library, and then they will draw nothing due to Narset's ability. And you got a 4/4 vanilla. Also, you are now shunned in the whole local game store, and 3 others. Fun fact, this card is a part of a cycle that has a reserve list card on it. So there's an alternative universe where this waste of cardboard is on the reserve list. Try to comprehend this for a moment. You good?
No? Okay.
Let's grab the checklist and check if these crocodiles fill any of the conditions. Their recovery is entirely based on the Durakar Scavenger, and it's not good. I will put nay here. Evasion has the same issue, weighing down the entire thing on one creature. That is not even all that good, even when the ability that causes the evasion effect is remarkable. Situational but remarkable. But it's not good enough, so nay. Critical mass is a bit uneven. Power of these gators is respectful, while their fear swarming is not impressive, borderline non-existing, and that's why I will leave them at mixed. Synergy is existing but not compelling in the slightest. They are basically turning downsides into slight upsides. Mixed as well. Case closed. How crocodiles can be improved? Pretty simple. Give them a Sultai colored or at least Golgari legendary creature that is battle oriented. Give them some more tramples, maybe some more flanking. Shadow maybe? Maybe a tapland that spawns crocodiles. A crocodile anthem that boosts them would be really nice. I'm gonna give them an award. A piece of chicken that I cropped in Paint 3D in like 1 minute. Go for it before someone steals it from you. Crocodiles as a pack filler tribe have a lot of potential hidden in the murky waters. -1/-1 counters are powerful mechanic which is proven by keywords like Wither and Infect, and a commander I like not to say his name. I'm perfectly aware that this video will cause influx of people trying to make crocs usable, but it always happens, it always does. Ladies and gentlemen, planeswalkers of all kind, thank you for watching. I deeply recommend subscribing and recommending me in the comments Trash Fire Tribes to review. I'm Matt of Special MTG, and I hope we meet again.